Hi guys, I hope you're well and you had a great Christmas and holiday season and you're relaxed and chilled and enjoying this time before we hit 2024 full on. It's going to be a full on year and there's lots coming up that I'll tell you about in probably the next few clips. I'm trying my best not to do it today. But today I just thought I'd swing by and just talk about something that I've talked about on other videos here and there. And that would be referencing. And any of my students or people that come to my master classes or workshops or people that have worked with me, whether I'm drumming or producing or whatever, know that I'm a referencing junkie. I think it's great. I mean, referencing is where, you can hear a certain musical situation that you're producing at that time and you can liken it to something else that you've heard already. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but what you've heard already, all the experience from, I started when I was 9 years old, so from 1979 right up to the present day, with all different genres of music, is all kind of logged in here. So when I'm in a producing role and I'm listening to a song and I think it needs something, I can pull on all that information. I can literally pull it up and think, oh, this reminds me of something I've heard. Now, what it means is you don't just rip off that idea. The idea is to take what you've heard and be inspired by it and think, right, that's what Talking Heads did, or Devo, or Bowie, or Beethoven, or Miles Davis. Okay, so we can't copy, but let's just listen to what happened next. Let's see if there's any inspiration we can glean from that. And I love that. That's why I'm enjoying this role that I'm doing at the moment of producing music for people. And if anyone out there is interested, just drop me a line. My email will be at the end of this the end of this clip, and you can send me a message. And I'm always up for that, so we can talk about music and arrangements and stuff like that, and maybe record you and stuff, whatever. So that's the idea, the big idea. That's what it is. And also with my drumming, of course, all the great drummers I've listened to from day one, from my father right through to the present day, all those drummers along that line have inspired me in some way. Sometimes, to make me think what I do like, and sometimes they demonstrate what I don't like. So it's kind of interesting how you can gauge those different meters. Now, I find as a sideman, sometimes if, I was asked in a cold light of day, I've got the whole catalogue of Queen albums. Would you like to listen to them now? I would politely decline and say, no, thank you. It's not really my vibe. Never has been. I don't think they're not a good band or anything. I respect them, and their place in rock history is deserved. But there's just something in that sort of very grand way that they present the music, almost theatrical, musical-like, that doesn't appeal to me. And then that rocking guitar comes in, it just doesn't appeal. But I'm aware of it, as I say, and I respect it. But when someone at a recording session says, hey, that thing that Roger Taylor does, Roger Taylor is the drummer and backing singer, great voice. Can you give me that Roger Taylor thing? Now, instantly, I've got a few ideas of some of the big singles and some of the album tracks, but I couldn't delve in straight away and give you a Roger Taylor thing. So I would say, please, can I listen to something? So they'd dial up on the computer, Spotify or iTunes, and find the clip and let me listen to it. And instantly I'm like, boom. And then I generally find that when I'm driving home, I think, actually, that wasn't, that bad. I quite enjoyed delving into Roger Taylor's vibe. And then all of a sudden you think, what's it like being the drummer in Queen? 4 very strong characters musically. It's like, how would you fit in? What would you do? And then all of a sudden you start thinking in a really different way. And it's really inspiring. And now, thanks to a session I did, there's a little bit of Roger Taylor's drumming within what I do. Point being that if I'd have just gone, oh, I'm not really into Queen, I think they're a bit naff, it's not my thing, instantly the person you're talking to thinks, oh, we're in a creative space. You're kind of blocking that creativity by being quite negative. Okay. So, I've learned very quickly, or I did learn very quickly back in the day, to keep all that outside of the rehearsal room, the recording studio, the concert hall, or the pub, or wherever you're playing. Because it's just not needed, that kind of negative kind of aspect. Because every time I've thought a little bit inside, when someone said, oh, can you just check this? And inside I may have gone, ooh. But actually I've left that room, rehearsal, recording studio, feeling enlightened. And it's a great feeling. And now I'm 53, and I think probably from maybe 18 to about 35 or something, I would have been battling with that kind of, oh, that's not cool, or I don't dig that kind of attitude, which really wasn't helpful. And I think probably about 30 was when I started to let it all go. It's like, I don't care if it's not the in thing. I don't care if my muso friends aren't into it. If I like this thing, whatever it is, a band, artist, genre, style, I'm going to dig it, and that's fine. And then through osmosis, it kind of goes inside and it comes out in a different way in my playing and now into my producing as well. So as a kind of, I know we're nearly at the new year, we're not there yet, but I would say for you drummers out there watching, and musicians, and actually music listeners, because I know all kinds of people, thankfully, thank you for watching my channel, delve into something. Give yourself a challenge to delve into a new artist, or an artist that you've always gone, when you've been in the pub or with mates and gone, oh, don't like them, yeah, rubbish. But really, you don't know much about them. You just think you don't like them, or you think it's cool to not like them. Same with the genre, whether it be opera, classical music, or jazz, reggae, hip hop, whatever the style, rock and roll. Listen to it. Challenge yourself to listen to it, because I guarantee you'll get something from it, which you'll take into your drumming or whatever instrument you play, or your music listening, and will make you feel a little differently. I mean, opening, and I don't want to get too kind of, hey man, but opening yourself up to more music and more artists and more styles opens you up to different ways of thinking, different ways of being, different ways of acting, and you can take that into your everyday life as well. I think at the moment, without getting too political, over the last 15 years, it's all been about, everyone being in their own space again, Brexit and what have you, and whatever side you voted is up to you. And fair enough, as it should be in a democracy. But, there are certain sort of channels and thoughts and pathways in the brain that sort of open up through music. We know this. And there's all kind of acceptance and forgiveness and stuff that can happen through music as well. So I think it's quite a big deal. So without getting too, heavy in the subject, I'm going to try and get into opera this year. I know my girlfriend will probably say, what? You never told me that. But yeah, I'm going to try and listen to it a little bit more, instead of it being like, oh, stop shouting at me, and I get the drama, but oh, give it a rest, mate. I'm going to try and get into it. So that's something that I'm going to try and do, because I'm bound to get something from it. The music is clearly amazing. The orchestrations are clearly amazing, and so are the singers. So why shouldn't I listen to something and get inspired from it that's in that genre? So that's going to be my thing. So I'll let you know how I get on with that through the year. It's not going to be easy for me, I'm not going to lie. And actually, some people often ask me, like, why do you always, well, not always, but often talk about music without any drums in it? I thought you were a drummer. What's your problem with other drummers? It's not a problem with other drummers. It's just that sometimes when I'm working as much as I am playing drums, that sometimes I don't want to hear drums in the music I listen to in my downtime. Though clearly over here, nearly every record there has got a drummer on it. But I will listen to some modern classical music and ambient music. I think I've said this before. I love ambient music. Sometimes I'll take, after a busy working session, whether it be recording sessions, rehearsal sessions, or a tour, sometimes the last thing I want to do is listen to more music with lots of changes, lyrics, groove, loud volume sometimes as well, or very finicky stuff that's very technical. Sometimes just listening to some albums of electronic, Moogs and various synths playing blips and blobs and synth waves and sine waves and envelopes is more of a turn on than listening to a lovely chord change on God Only Knows or something, Sometimes I just need to clear my head of that, not erase it, obviously, because I need it, but just to kind of clear the decks a little bit. So that's what I'm going to try and get into. So maybe you guys could challenge yourself with maybe jazz. I know the dreaded J word, the jazz word, is something that a lot of people go, I hate jazz, I don't understand, it's so complex, people are just playing for themselves, it's really not that. But, so just check it out and just open yourself up a little bit, because actually it will really help your playing, because I know it really helped mine. And the more I see documentaries about artists that I really like, And also it could be about, you know, painters. I wish I could paint. I wish I could play the piano, and I wish I could paint really well, or sculpt or do something else. I know that people say there's loads of time, and I have got time to learn it. But the thing is, music, you know, I've got too much time down, you know, marked up for music. I haven't got the time. So I watch on YouTube various documentaries about artists, and even they say that they open up by looking at other people's work and so on, but they stay focused on what they're doing, but elements of it might creep in, but nothing that's ever, you don't become a copyist. And I think referencing really helps you with that. And I guess the kind of a thing you should be careful of is not completely directly ripping something off. So for us, we learn lick of the month, where it'd be bosh, you know. People love playing that, and it's a great fill to play. People will reference certain people who are playing it now, of course. The more you reference, you realise it goes right back to somebody, and it could be played on timps even, you know, and other instrumentation can play, you know, it's not just a drum thing. But then it's to my students, I say, well, you've learnt it, what are you going to do with it? How can we make it not sound like Danny Carey playing it, you know, or Thomas Lang playing it, or Manu Katché, or whoever? How are you going to make it sound like you? What are you going to put before it, and what are you going to put after it? Where are you going to phrase it on the drum kit? Are you going to play it on the top part of the kit? Are you going to include your bass drum, or play it double pedals? What are you going to do? You know, I think that's the challenge. And going back to another video, you know, the more we can challenge ourselves with certain phrases that we play and move it around the kit, then we find its endless possibilities, you know. So referencing, this is the thing. 11 minutes. I should probably round this up about now and tie it up into a nice little bow. But yeah, let me know what you think. Leave some comments below. You can email me. Referencing, honestly, it's a great thing to do. All these records I've got, and all the MP3s on my laptop, and you know, all of this, all music is important, all of it, and all of it is dead useful as a musician. We could be so creative if we just let all these elements in and use them in different ways, whether it be on sessions or just on our jam sessions, recordings, playing live, you know, whatever. It's all useful stuff. So thank you for watching. I'll be doing a few of these videos now before the new year. So yeah, thanks as ever for subscribing, liking, sharing. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Go listen to some music that you've not heard before. Go do it now. And I'll see you next time. Bye.